following podcast may contain strong language. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome to Hallmark of Greatness, the podcast that discusses the films that only Brenda would love. I'm Joe, and with me as always, she's saucy and bossy in the kitchen.
What a name!
And she's still on the quest to find out if quince is a real thing or something made up by Rudyard Kipling. It's Katie.
It's not real.
Apparently it is.
Do you remember our nephew's computer game? It used to go, Q, quince, that's a fruit! And you go,
did, yeah.
You chose the harmonica! Yeah.
Oh, Christ, why is that burnt into my head? Apparently, we're supposed to be being given some quince gin at some point, so, yeah.
Right here.
I have my contacts in the gin.
Where did they find the mythical quince?
Tommy Slipper. I don't reckon it's quince. I reckon it's just Brasso.
They stole it off next door neighbour's tree, I think.
Well, Barney went to a posh farmer's market thing, and there was all flavours of jam and stuff. No quince. No, does not exist.
Does it grow in this country? This is last week. What are we doing?
Sorry, it's just quince facts. If you would like to keep up to date with all the Hallmark of Greatness gossip, you can follow us on Hallmark of Great at Twitter, all one word, or we are on Instagram and Facebook, Hallmark of Greatness. As the days are growing shorter and the temperature has dropped, and because there aren't really any Hallmark spooky films, and because last year I nearly died doing them all in a month, we have decided to start Christmas month.
Huzzah!
Because we can. A serious moment now. Same as last year, if you like what we do, please consider giving a small donation to Manchester's Wood Street Mission. We know times are incredibly difficult for everyone out there, but anything that you can spare goes a long way towards helping some of Manchester's poorest at Christmas. There'll be links in the show notes, and I'll probably drop this again at the end of the episode. If you can donate, that's fine. You're under no obligation to. This will still be free. We just wanted to use what little tiny reach we had to try and make Christmas better for everyone. Now on to the fun stuff. This week's Christmas Jamboree film. None of the other jingles are going to have jingle bells over them because the jingle bells is proving difficult to control at the moment.
Should we do our own soundtrack?
If you want, yeah. Go on.
Jing, 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 jing.
Oh.
That's right. That's the Christmas jingles now. This week's film.
What's that?
Pringled. 2014's Christmas Under Wraps. That's WRPS. Barney, your synopsis for the first of our many, many Christmas films.
Holly Wood is a high-flying lawyer in Chicago. After losing a merger deal, she is transferred to a small town in Canada. Here she meets Chip Holliday, who runs a Christmas tree emporium. When Holly and Chip discover that the orphanage has burnt down, they put all differences aside and rebuild the orphanage using their business skills and whittling skills. It takes them 4 days of keeping Christmas under wraps until the grand unveiling on Christmas Eve, complete with reindeer and present giving.
Again, could be an actual film.
Lots of Hallmark things.
These are supposed to be funny,
I struggled with this one because I'd already watched the film and then I had to go back and do a synopsis.
You're going to kick yourself for using Hollywood so early.
What's the Christmassy girl's name? Holly. What would be a good surname? All I could think of was Hollywood.
You're going to be like, Spinster, Miss Ulto. Yeah. See, that's free. You can have that one. The actual synopsis. When an aspiring surgeon is turned down for a fellowship, she takes a temporary position working as a GP in a small Alaskan town in an effort to boost her resume.
Yeah.
That's like the first 15 minutes of the film, isn't it? Miss all the main points out.
I didn't really get the title. Am I being daft?
It's
cold.
I think it's because it's what transpires at the end. Oh, I've just flicked a bubble across the room.
Oh.
Yeah, is it not because the town of, what's it called? Scarf.
Garland.
Scarf.
Garland. Yeah, there's no town called Scarf. The town of Garland is secretly the North Pole, and everyone in the town's in on it. But, it's a bit like Children of the Corn, but, not. But, yes, let's get into this as it's Christmas. We open, as always, with an establishing shot of San Francisco Bridge.
They've got to keep them shots in.
And some shots of the cable cars in San Francisco, so you know you're in San Francisco. And we are introduced to our heroine, Dr. Lauren Brunel, who is coming out of surgery with another doctor. And she's going, thanks for letting me assist with that. And he goes, you did all the work. Why don't you go and speak to the patients? And I'm like, can you do that?
To the family, because the patient was recovering from surgery.
Yeah, he wasn't. Yeah, but it wasn't like. Also, it was for kidney stones.
Kidney stones.
Appendicitis.
It reminded me of the first Harry
sorry,
Potter
yeah.
film where everyone's a puppet. What? It can't be me. That's how that acting was in that first scene.
I mean, I liked Dr. Lauren in this, to be fair. She was quite personable and had to put up with a lot of high-pressure situations from the love interest. At one point, I thought it was going to go all on frozen ground and he was going to hunt her for sport.
I mean, how the locals haven't all, died, I don't know, without a doctor there.
Yeah, I mean, it's a magical place, Scarf.
Scarf.
She goes and speaks to them, and she says that I've took his appendix out.
I saw it on the TV, but he was asleep, so we didn't get to see
Can
it.
we see it on the
Yeah,
TV? No, child.
Why would you want to? It's a small fleshy thingy. Yeah.
You can
and-
keep it. There you go.
I don't think you can anymore.
Did you used to be able to? That was a joke. Is that a thing?
I don't know. It's mine.
Yeah, I want it back.
I'm not having you selling it to someone on eBay. Real human appendix.
Well, if you can keep your
Toilet.
placenta, surely you'd be able to keep your appendix.
What do people,
I don't
people
know.
do with their placenta? Put it in a
Yeah, I don't
smoothie.
think you can eat your appendix. Well, you probably can eat your appendix, but...
Have you read that This Is Gonna Hurt book?
No.
Oh, about the man? No, I haven't, but I've seen him on stuff and he's quite funny.
In the book, he says that someone starts trying to eat the placenta, but eats blood clots instead.
Stop
And then
it.
he's like,
I'm literally
what,
just
what,
had
are you, what are you eating? And she's like, oh, the placenta's really good for you. And he's like, no, that's not the placenta. There's loads of stories like that in the book.
Yeah, if you're still here, let's keep going.
Oh, man. Let's go back to Christmas
Oh,
and happiness.
Human
Yay!
black pudding.
Ooh.
She
Talking to her mates.
goes talking to her friends and her boyfriend Lester.
Scott.
What's he called? Scott.
It's Scott.
I don't know. Again,
I know.
Scott was
I know
punching
you don't
well
pay
above
attention
his
to
weight.
names, so I write
Yeah.
them down.
Right, I don't know.
I
He's
don't pay attention to the names either.
generic boyfriend, isn't it? So he's not gonna last.
Yeah.
And they're going out for a meal to celebrate her possibly getting this fellowship thing.
Gonna be partner.
Surgery partner at the surgery office of schools, and she sort of jumps the gun a bit because he's like, there's one thing I need to tell you, and it's difficult to say. And she goes, we should get married. And it turns out they've only known each other 8 months,
Yeah.
which I thought was fast, even for Katie Price.
I thought you were going to say for me. I was like, what?
Topical.
Yeah,
No,
but she's
not-
expecting to move to Boston
Uh,
for this doctor scholarship fellowship, so she wanted him to go with.
Yes.
And she was expecting him to follow her, which is fine, but he's like, no, I think we should not see each other, and I'm going to go back to living under a bridge, scaring goats going over the top of it.
You plan too much of my life. Is what she said.
Yeah, because
Always
she's a
the
planner,
planners.
isn't it? So she goes round to her parents' massive house.
Ridiculous.
And yeah,
And then Joe Biden comes out.
I swear, to God, with his great, is that Lauren? Yes, it is. Why are you talking to yourself? And her mum's like, oh, what's happened? And she's like, oh, well, at least I've still got Boston. And as it turns out, she doesn't have Boston.
Despite her dad's contacts within the fellowship, which he's they're just very happy to just boast about. I've got contacts. I'll get you
Yeah,
in
she was
somewhere
beaten
else."
by a doctor without borders. Is that right?
Yeah.
It's very
'Cause then
difficult colouring.
Because they were like, they just thought that was unique enough because that links into why she does.
Yeah,
what she does.
you haven't done enough stuff out of the box.
Yeah.
Whatever the fuck that means. And so she's like, but I've got really good grades. I went to school and I got an A.
Yeah.
And he's like, unfortunately, that's not enough. You're going to have to go to the fellowship school tomorrow to go and have a look for another one.
Career
Career day.
corner or something like
Yeah.
that. So.
We had to do that stuff on the computer at school and it told me I should be a lumberjack. Yeah.
It told me I should be a funeral director. when I did it.
You're far too jolly to be a funeral director.
Didn't know me that well.
Yeah.
Career place. I wrote it down with
Career
1,000
place.
points, with 1,000 poinsettias in it.
It was Christmas, innit?
It was very Christmassy. But yeah, the career place. Good.
And she speaks to computer, says no, and she's like, "Oh, well, your CV's great, but unfortunately, all the fellowships have been taken. Why didn't you
Did you
apply
only-
to more than one place?" And she went, "Do you know who my dad is? Joe Biden, mate." And she's like, "Oh, well, there's nothing I can do." "Oh, hang on." Mysteriously, this fellowship's just opened up, and it's like head of a hospital in Anchorage, Alaska.
It's just mysteriously come up, but I have got the corresponding voucher leaflet right here.
Yeah, all of that.
Magically.
That felt a bit like there should have been a jingle over the top of
Yeah.
it, like a jingle jangle. But she's like, "Well, I'd like to apply then, because I can't go back to that hospital where I used to work and do all the surgery for
Yeah.
some reason."
It's out the box, isn't it? Going to a random town.
Scarf, Alaska. Yeah, Garland, it's
Garland.
called. But she says is adjacent to Anchorage. So the next day, she's in her massive apartment. Like, and I was like, San Francisco is one of the most expensive cities in America, isn't it? I'm sure it is, unless the dead Kennedys have lied to me all these years. But and she gets a phone call from the receptionist, who
Yeah,
Billy?
very hyper, Billy. She just keeps
I like
grinning
Billy.
inanely.
Well, she's the hottest lady in Alaska. And she's like, "Oh, if you want, you can come out and start now. We'll pay for your flights and your accommodation." And she's like, "Okay." Phones her dad, and he's like, "Right, I've got this thing." And he's like, "No, you can't do that. I'll sort something out for you. Go and do it for like 2 days and then come back." I'm like, "Well, that's a waste of everyone's
Did you
fucking
notice in this
time, isn't it?"
scene, Mum was drying a spatula for the whole scene. And it doesn't take that long to dry a spatula.
Just waft it a bit and put it back in the drawer. They're silicone anyway, normally, yeah.
Against your apron, that's it, done.
Yeah. It's good mum acting, though. Yeah. So
Very
she
generic,
flies out. She's like, "Oh, well, we'll go and get some winter clothes for you and stuff." And she's, "Oh, I've only got a week until I go. That isn't enough time." That's loads of time.
So it takes 2 bags. How, she's not like she's like packed up a whole
Full of
life.
pashminas and...
No, well, she's
I don't know.
sarongs.
High heels.
She flies out. She's got these 2 bags with her. She lands at the airport, comes outside, and there's a bloke stood there with a sign. I genuinely thought this was quite funny. And she's like, "Oh, yeah." He goes, "I'll drive you to Garland." And how far is it? And he says about 300 miles that way. And then he puts her on a plane.
I know,
was
and
like,
she was really annoyed. I'd be well excited to be in a plane like that.
I don't know. I don't trust planes at the best of time, let alone ones that are powered by rubber bands. Like,
Yeah, but you get to be in the front of a plane, get to see it.
but yeah, he's in like a 4-seat.
I don't like all that
section sort of thing.
headphone chat, though. I don't like it.
Over, yeah. But there was some quality green screen in the cockpit, and then stock footage of a plane flying. But there was quite a lovely shot as well when they came through the clouds, and you just saw this little town.
Again, that needed a little jingle because she says something like, "Oh, that came out
That
of
just
nowhere."
came out of
like,
nowhere. Yeah, and I was
Jingle,
like,
jingle.
It should have been like, "Ooh, magic!" But
Yeah.
no,
they didn't lean into the magic enough in
did
this.
not.
No.
It was really subtle. You had to really.
Subtle to the point of non-existing at times.
You've got to link it all together and use your own imagination.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So they land, and she's like, "Oh, it's very cold, isn't it?"
It's a mild
Alaska.
7 degrees, he
And
says.
she walks out, then goes, "Whoo!" immediately, like.
Visions of cool runnings there, yeah. And he takes her to her cabin thing, which is lovely, isn't it? Like, lovely house that
Yeah.
she's got for free. And she's like, "Right,
Got
I'll see
little
you in the
cut-out Christmas trees in the window. It's adorable.
Yeah. And then, ungrateful as she is, he says, "All right, I'll pick you up in the morning, and we'll go to like the surgery, and you can meet everyone and settle in." She goes to bed.
No, before that, she
Right,
turns the
come on.
lights on in her little wooden hut and is all surprised that they work, because that really made me laugh. She turns on, she was like, "Oh, lights!"
But yeah, she goes to bed. She wakes up the next morning and stomps about because there's no coffee machine.
Yep, lots of stomping.
And I was like, all right, like, you're in a small town, there'll be a diner. He's shown you where everything is. There's Harty's Diner, there's the general store, there's, what's it called? Like the secret factory?
Oh, holidays. Something like that.
Holidays, isn't it? Because it's a very... No, it is Holiday,
Yeah, it's
isn't
Frank
it?
Holiday. Holiday!
And so, yeah, and she goes to the doctor's surgery, and she meets Billy and 2 other people who only get one line in this film. And she
yeah.
says, yeah, the other two nurses, I don't know their names because I don't think it's ever mentioned.
They stand in formation though, don't they? Every time.
Yeah, like the Mighty Ducks. Yeah.
Assemble!
Assemble. And she's
And
like,
automatically, on her way there, sorry, she goes to the cafe to get a coffee, and she does the good joke of, oh, I'll have a low soy, medium frappe thingy, and she's just like, we've got coffee, milk, and sugar. And I was like, good on you, Hattie.
Yeah.
Tell this Yankee.
And she goes, have you got 0% milk or something? And I'm like, isn't that just water?
Yeah, I'd be like,
What
skim,
is
do you
0%
want it?
milk?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's when she meets Frank.
And then Frank's sitting there, and Frank, to me, immediately from the voice, I was like, that's Mr. Vandorf from Wayne's World. It's the arcade owner. But he has been in absolutely everything as well. He's got a very distinctive voice.
He says, don't be afraid of cream. You need fattening up for this cold climate.
Cold weather. He's having biscuits for breakfast.
Good on him.
Which is cookies if you're American. And I'm like, that's the dream. And she says like, oh, that'll kill you. I'm like, this is not a conversation you have when you just meet someone, is it? Like, she sits down, starts talking to him. Like, I'm the doctor. You need to come by because obviously you shouldn't be eating that.
You've clearly
Andy,
got high cholesterol.
He's a big lad. And she goes, oh, you look like Santa. And I was like, here we go.
And he's
here
like,
we
do
go.
I?
No, I'm eating biscuits for breakfast and I look like Santa. You'll never know.
I own a
never
big
tell.
shipping company and it's coming up to Christmas.
Oh, it's my busy period.
But yeah, we never pull the trigger on it though, do they? No.
No, never do.
His son Andy comes in, who is the guy who's been driving her around and stuff. Like, they have a bit of like an animosity towards each other. Then they go to the doctors, sorry, and there's people waiting to see
So
them.
it turns out Andy is the son of Santa. Or
Yes, he's
Frank Holiday.
Frank.
You can't call Santa Frank. That's a terrible
Short
name
for
for
Frankincense.
Santa.
Short for father.
Ah, see, me and Kate are on the same page. Frankincense.
Yeah, we are.
Alright, it's Halloween, I was going to go Frankenstein. But, and all these people are there waiting to be seen by the doctor because they haven't had a doctor in this town for months, years maybe?
Some people's arms were falling off. And they
Yeah,
just been,
right. One guy was actually dead but was still animated somehow.
Collecting his pension. Well, the guy who got the boot because his ankle was sore, like Andy said to her, I'm glad you're here because he'd have just walked around with that till his foot fell off. And it was just like,
Thank God it happened the day the doctor arrived then.
But she treats all these people and then like goes home and is like exhausted by the entire day. But she also gets invited to Andy's parents' house.
So Frank Holiday's.
Mr. and Mrs.
Frank
Claus.
and whatever.
Mr.
Yeah,
and Mrs.
well,
Claus.
to their house, and she arrives and she's creeping about, and then we get a little scurrying of something, and she finds a little green hat on the floor, and she's like, "No, it couldn't be an elf."
No, it
And
can't.
I was no,
But like Katie said,
It's just a.
yeah, it's not an elf hat. It's not pointy or anything. It's just a knitted hat.
It's just,
I think this all might be a Jacob Ladder situation. She's like, the plane's going down, the oxygen deprivation has kicked in, and all this is just like, yeah, just before she dies.
And then, so I just think it could be just a shy employee who just run into the barn.
Could be a burglar.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I just saw it. You got elf from that situation. Rather than just
Well,
someone
when we
running
find
around.
out later, it could be a reindeer assaulter, couldn't it? Like, so she goes in, she has this meal, and it turns out that Andy used to live in Seattle and was an architect. There's your hallmark
Very
toofer.
Yeah, very impressed by that. I think she thought he was a small town guy.
Well, he said it's a small town, one doctor, one handyman, one... and what is it?
One
We don't
Santa
worry
Claus.
about what's outside. We have enough or something, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's like the town motto. It's like, we don't do a lot, but we're happy with that. That's not it, is it? But it's something like that.
You can't have everything, but you can have plenty.
We've got a lot of this, but none of that. Yeah. I don't know.
Fresh flowers every day, but you can't order things online.
Well, yes, this leads to the next day. She's like, oh, I'm really cold. Oh, no. And they've cancelled my order because apparently, what's it called? Snorkel? No, Garland isn't a real place. I don't know. I knew it was a weird word. Garland isn't a real place and they can't deliver to it. And Hattie, who is for some reason outside of the cafe, is like, yeah, we can send stuff out, but stuff doesn't come in.
We make it difficult for them to find us.
That's
She says
it,
something
yeah.
like that. Wink, wink.
See? Right? But she goes, come on, let's go to, like, Chuck's Feed and Seed, and we'll get you some clothes. and then they just like put some like jeans in a like I didn't get this. It wasn't like a fashion montage.
No, it was
just like,
buy these
They were just like,
jeans.
oh,
They've
there's
got
some
fleece sweatpant fleece inside them.
So it's
There you
best
go,
of both worlds.
Bonzo.
So it's just warm
Mean.
clothing, wasn't it? Because at first she was like, Andy was like, "Oh, you can get warm clothes from that shop," and she's like, "Did you get your puffy vest from there?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he goes,
Like, excuse me, love, it's a gilet.
Also, I live in a town that is mostly snow.
Or blankets of
I don't
snow,
wanna
because it
die.
wasn't really snow, was it? Hell, pushed to the side.
As it turns out, this is the one film they didn't film in Canada.
Oh.
So yeah, we dress for warmth, not for fanciness or something. She says, and yeah, it was I don't know, like I enjoyed this. It was quite fun. Another day at the hospital, more people come in. Some kid has ran into some plants at the back of his house. Something.
Oh, and then there's that little guy he's not little, an ordinary sized man has hurt himself.
He's hit himself with a hammer.
And then he's like, "What hammer?" And he brings out this little tiny hammer, which
Little
is created
toffee
this
hammer.
huge bruise and broken skin. And he's like, "What type of hammer is that?" And he said, "It's for toys." Wink, wink.
Ooh. Yeah.
And then
None of it pays off, so we're going to keep making that noise, I'm afraid.
And then Andy's like looking at him like, "Don't give it away, you fool." And
Yeah.
he's like, "Yes, the delivery, we have a spirit of Christmas at our delivery thing, and we
It's
sometimes
down to the
give
elf
toys."
pits, you traitor. At this point, Frank also is like keeps going on about the Christmas Eve parade
Yeah.
that he's in charge of, but yeah.
Oh, also, Wyatt keeps turning up with flowers. He's the local delivery flower man.
Oh yeah, him and Billy are knocking each other off.
Look, they just keep
Yeah.
grinning at
They
each
just
other.
stare at each other.
Oh, they do some kissing at the end. It's nice.
It's not deep kissing, though, is it?
There's very little deep kissing in this. It's too cold.
Too
You
cold.
get stuck together, don't you? I can't know what happens next now.
Rudy.
Reindeer. Rudy the reindeer.
Oh, yeah, she gets knocked out of bed the next morning, or late at night, I can't remember. And she's like, you need to come and see Rudy, he's hurt his leg. And she's like, oh, okay then. Where is he? He's in this barn. Yeah, so she goes into the barn, and lo and behold,
A
there's a
reindeer
there
called Rudy.
which is short for Rudy Can't Fail.
So now she's a
That's
vet.
funny joke. Yeah, now she's a vet as well, and she just goes, no, put some ice on it, and I'll go and check WebMD for animals, I guess.
That's what all doctors do, right?
I think pretty much, yeah.
Just Google it on their little computers and say,
No, because WebMD always says it's cancer every time it's cancer.
yeah, or pregnant. It's too old, even if you're a man.
You should tick that box, yeah. And then she phones her dad, or her dad phones her, and he's like, right, I've sorted it for you.
I've used my contacts and got you a fellowship.
Oh, we'll be in touch about that.
Oh,
At this
she's
point,
only got a day to decide, hasn't she?
no, we've missed out the best bit.
Sorry.
Andy, like, literally comes around and like grips her and like starts kissing side of her face. Like, we've got the murder picnic, yeah, haven't we?
Oh yeah.
That's
The
before
midnight
phone call.
picnic in Alaska.
Yeah, like, you're not just gonna get hypothermia and die. Yeah, he's like, oh, they're getting on really well, and she's like giving him the eyes, and he keeps like kissing the side of her face, which she's been there 4 days at this point, I think.
Yeah.
Things move a
There's
little
not
faster
many to
in
choose from.
Alaska.
Billy's been snapped up by Wyatt, so...
There's only
yeah.
Hattie.
And she's too busy buying no-fat milk, or whatever it is.
And everyone's had to go on Hattie. Yeah. I don't know.
Oh, she says to Andy at one point, is this place real? And he says, that's Garland for you. And they say this about 17 times throughout the film.
Yeah.
Yep, don't worry about it. So he says, oh, another thing to do here is we go for, like you said, midnight picnics. At that point, I'd be like,
Do they know?
that sounds like a thing a murderer would say to get me on my own in the dark. But she's like, sweet, I'm an educated woman. I'll go blindly along with this strange man I've known 4 days. I know he's an architect, and I know his parents like biscuits. That's as much as I know about him.
And I already feel really safe because I cannot get home if I wanted to without him.
Yeah, like, I'm literally trapped here.
Yeah.
Um,
I can't say no to this man.
So he drives her out, and she's like, oh, it's so nice and quiet, and you can see the moon and all that jazz. And he's like, oh no, this isn't where we're having the picnic. Get in the plane! And she's like, gets in the plane, and then, I thought at this point it was going to go like, is it Robert Lipton who hunted women for fun? Yeah, drive her off into the wilderness and just be like, go, you've got 30 seconds. Yeah. But no, he takes us to this clearing, and then this was a bit weird as well, because it reminded me of that Bob's Burgers episode where Linda learns to fly a plane. And he's like, takes us to this special place. Oh, and there's a blanket here and a picnic basket and all this jazz. And I'm like, he does this to all the women. That's why there's no doctors.
Keeps killing it with his tiny hammer.
Tiny hammer. Stand still, this is going to take a while. Pap, 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 pap. Get off! But yeah, and then it's like you can see the northern lights, and it's oh so magical, and they do a kiss, and it's lovely, and then like they're both sort of all round each other. Then she gets the phone call from her dad saying, I've sorted you this thing out, but you have like 24 hours to make your decision.
Otherwise, the next person on the list will get it.
Yeah.
So you have to make
Despite your stellar thingy and now having been to Alaska on your CV, there is still someone better than you. And so she's like, oh well, decision made, easy. Right, didn't get murdered, ticking that box.
It's always been the plan, hasn't it?
It's always been there. She's always a planner, you see, and not like a just go with it, just small town life. So she meets Andy the next morning and says, yeah, yesterday was great, thanks for not killing me. Unfortunately, I'm going back to the real world now because this has been fun, but also, like, it's weird, isn't it?
And
he's
then
like, rude.
Andy turns.
He does some quality gaslighting at this point, doesn't he?
Yeah, he really does. What's Becky gonna do with all that no-fat milk that she's bought specially for you?
I don't know. Wash a dog in it? I don't know. They're like, no, but this is something like, but you said last night was the most fun you've had, but now you're leaving. And I'm like, a woman can change her mind, Andy. Andy Holiday. That's why you had to leave Boston, I wager. And she goes and speaks to everyone. She says, like, thanks, Hattie, goodbye. And she goes to doctors. She says goodbye to everyone. And the two other nurses get a line.
We'll miss you, Doctor.
Yeah, thanks for being here for 3 days.
Thanks for healing everyone in town for 3 days until we have to wait another year before someone else is going.
You lasted longer than the previous doctors did, I will say. But Billy and Wyatt are like doing kissing now as well, so that's fun. She's like, oh, thanks, because you gave me the confidence. And then she goes to she goes to speak to Mr. and Mrs. Holiday. And Frank, despite her saying to him, Frank, stop eating biscuits, you chode, you're going to die, he's still eating biscuits. Like, he just wants to die.
Well, he's Santa, he's immortal,
He is, right. Is he, though?
Well, yeah, because is it like marrying Mr. Claus or whatever they did? Where he's going to take over the family business and become
That's what
Santa
he keeps
Claus.
saying, isn't it? And then I thought it could be like the Santa Claus, where if Santa dies, the person who killed him takes on his identity.
So it's going to be a giant cookie as Santa Claus.
Why was I made? Yeah. So she says goodbye to everyone, and Andy's like, well, I'm going to drive you to the airport and fly you home, I guess. Because I'm the only one in this town who can fly a plane. So, like, fuck knows how they get. And as they're driving there, he gets a, what? No, you're joking phone call. And he goes, oh no, it's Dad. He's
had one biscuit too many.
He's succumbed.
Oh, nice.
Thanks, that's it. Bye. No, he's fainted at work. So she's like, turn the car around. And we get a very slow turning the car around. No peel out. You get there. He's in bed and she's like, what's happened to you? And he's like, oh, my chest hurts here and here. Is it a heart attack? And she goes, no, but if you don't stop being so stressy, you're gonna die. Is that what you want, Frank? And he's like, maybe.
Am I going to be better by tomorrow evening?
We've not even got a KFC in this town. This is how backwards we are.
I'm going to be better by the 24th, wink. It's my very busy period, wink, wink.
And she's like, right, well, I'm going to stop here an extra day to make sure that no tomfoolery happens. You're under bed rest, and I'm going to hire Billy to just watch you, right, under observation. And now I'm going because I'm angry because you're still eating biscuits. I'm sure at one point, even when she comes to see him again to say goodbye again, like he puts biscuits under his pillow.
Well,
sure
when they have the family meal, the pudding is a whole gingerbread house. Like Christ!
He's just walking diabetes. Frank and Andy have a bit of a heart to heart, and he's like, unfortunately, like, sometimes what you want, you don't get. But I want to take some of the responsibility off your shoulders, so I'll help out more at the factory, as opposed to just wandering around town with a screwdriver fixing things, because that appears to be his job. Otherwise,
I think he just likes gossip. He just
He's
likes
the town
overhearing stories going on.
just an old woman, isn't he? But then they go, like, she comes back in and they have a bit. I'm thinking, right, did Frank fake this to keep her in town?
I know.
I think so, because they don't actually say what was wrong with him. She just says, if you carry on, you're going to die.
It's high blood pressure.
Yeah, but that don't...
He fainted going upstairs.
That would be low blood pressure, wouldn't it?
Not the amount of sugar
Because
he
Ellis
eats.
has high blood pressure along with his other many diseases, and he doesn't, like, collapse randomly. Well...
Put that into the ether now, well done. But no, I just thought, has he done this to keep her staying so she can see what she's missing? I thought, that's not a very Santa
Well,
thing
maybe
to do,
it's
is it?
her present,
I didn't
and
think
Santa
that was
was like, no, you really need to be here, because this is where you're supposed to be.
Possibly. She goes back to her house anyway and looks at a star
Her stained glass star.
that Andy got her. Which looks pretty
I'd have that on
normal,
my
to be
tree.
honest.
I love a bit of tat.
Yeah, and she's like, she phones her dad up and she's like, Dad, I'm sorry, I know you're the president, but I'm going to have to disobey you. And he's like, why? And then her mum's like, listen, I've dried all the spatulas in the house. Let me get involved in this phone call. And she's like, good for you. You stay there because you're doing something like worthwhile. You're following your own bliss. So what was it? All my life I've followed my head.
You can listen to your head, but you have to follow your heart, she says.
I'm sure that was.
I was going to say, did she read it off of Werther's original rapper?
And she's like, well, you better come and see us, but maybe in the spring because you're old and the cold will kill you. And they're like, oh, okay, great. She goes to see everyone again, like a reverse.
Well, it doesn't take long, does it?
There's only 8 people in this fucking town, yeah. So she goes to see Hattie, who's running like a toffee apple.
Well, it's
stall, it
festival
looks
day,
like.
and there's 3 booths for festival day. I thought surely the street should be full of booths.
Toffee apple booth, knocking cans over with a ball.
To have running the booths.
One person is running
going
all
to-
those booths simultaneously. Hattie's doing them all. Well, no, because Billy and Wyatt are doing the knocking the tin cans over with a ball thing.
Oh, yeah.
And then he kisses her again, which is lovely. And she's like, where's Andy? And everyone's like, oh, he's here somewhere. I'm like, look around, love. There's not a lot of people for him to get lost at. Just shout his name. He'll be able to hear you.
Or just break something and he won't be able to resist and he'll come out and try and fix it.
He's over there repairing the reindeer enclosure. And from what it appears, he's just kicking it as well. Like, he's kicking it like he fixes stuff.
It's magic. You can just fix things with a kick.
Yeah, he comes over and he says like, oh, so you've decided to stay then, have you? And she's like, yeah, I guess so. Well, that's garland for you.
Yay!
Then this bit happens, right? Like, she's discharged Frank from the hospital as his Christmas present. He arrives on a full sled, being dragged by one reindeer, which I thought was a bit cruel.
Yeah.
But they're
I don't know.
magic.
Are reindeer quite big? Well, this is the thing, right? And all the kids are like, yeah, it's Santa. And he goes, oh, so you're stopping, great. I've got to go off and do my job now. And then, like, it shows Andy and Lauren, like, with their arms around each other. Maybe doing a kiss, I can't remember.
No, I can't.
But then, right, the camera pulls up to the moon, and we hear Frank go, ho, 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 and a reindeer and a sled peel off onto the silhouette of the moon. So he was Santa all along?
He was Santa all along, yeah. But it's like, it really annoyed me because they really don't lead into it. Like, the whole thing...
The last line in the film is he says, oh, well, we need to tell you about...
Oh, yeah.
Garland.
Garland.
Garland. Jeez, why can't I remember that word? And she's like,
famously
oh, what?
Festive snorkel.
Put some baubles on it, it'd be fun. Yeah, she says to him, oh, what you mean with the mysterious factory that only ships out and never in? And, you know, your dad that's clearly Father Christmas. And he goes, no, that's Garland. And then yeah, just ends.
Yeah.
And I was
Yeah,
like,
she's
tell
not even
us!
freaked out by it. She's just like, oh yeah, clearly it's Santa Claus. And
I
then-
think it's if you eat the biscuits. I think it's like a...
yeah, there's something going on.
It's like it keeps you like sedated, like in like equilibrium or whatever.
But Hattie makes
Well,
those
yeah, that's the
biscuits
end of-
at Christmas time, though. She doesn't make them any other time of year because she makes a point of saying that.
But he says he gets in extra people at Christmas as well. Like, does he get South Pole elves in?
I didn't think they could get on.
But they're not in the North Pole, they're in Alaska.
I mean, we're basing that on elves, man. Which I don't think is canon.
I thought it was real.
Well, I mean, yes, it is real, but yeah, I don't.
They have to keep some of the secrets.
But is it? Is it though? Because like you get off the plane in Alaska, and then he just flies you round and round till you get dizzy. You don't know where you are.
You're at the North Pole now.
You could be at the North Pole. We'll never know. Could be a magic plane.
I'll never tell.
No, we'll never know. And that is like what ruins this from being a pretty good film. I thoroughly enjoyed this.
You're right. It should have had jingles to say like, "This is magic,"
over the top of the little bits that were a bit suspicious. Yeah.
Whereas actually, it could all have been explained away into that he just plays Santa on Christmas Eve.
But then why did he?
Maybe it's like
at
Shutter
the end?
Island, and he
I know,
thinks he's Santa, and everyone just goes along with it because he's senile.
Or when they project a shadow onto the moon, maybe like Batman.
We'll never know, unfortunately, unless we get a sequel to this, which I don't think we will, because it's 2014. Oh, well. Yeah, I'm going to give this 1 golden appendix. It was fun, I enjoyed it, but it should have lent... If they wanted to do magic bits, they should have lent into the magic
Like the
bits
Santa
more.
incident.
Listen, you stay away from the House of Jazz or whatever it was called.
The Ghost Factory.
What's it called? The Ghost Factory. If you haven't listened to that one, go and listen to the Santa incident for just the saddest Christmas story ever. And the best maniacal Santa laughing. Katie, your score?
1 sugary biscuit that gives you a heart attack. So whatever you think that is. But I thought generally it just really annoyed me because they didn't lean into the magic the same ease. It just annoyed me that like...
It straddled the line.
Yeah. Do it or don't.
Didn't want to put its feet in either camp. Yeah.
No.
2
Cowards.
tiny
Bang.
hammers.
Lovely.
So...
Jingle, jingle, jingle.
Jingle, jingle, jingle. So the director was Peter Sullivan. I think he's been in a few ones we've done. But I was looking through his back catalogue, and he likes a theme, does Peter Sullivan. So he's done a lot of Christmas films. One which is called Blending Christmas, but I read it as Bleeding Christmas.
Oh, Bleeding Christmas.
Bleeding Christmas, which I thought would be funnier. A Royal Christmas. And then one of his themes is he likes to do films about mommy and daddy killing. So they've got Mommy's Deadly Con Artist, Sinister Stepfather, and The Killer Mummy. Marmy, sorry.
Oh, right, Marmy. Right.
Killer Mom. And then his other thing is he's done 19 films of this with essentially the same title of The Wrong X. So it's
Trousers.
The Wrong Marmy again, The Wrong Cheer Captain, The Wrong Cheerleader, The Wrong Prince Charming, The Wrong Valentine, The Wrong Fiance, The Wrong Stepfather. The wrong
So he's just going through like a dictionary, isn't he? Going, any of these nouns, right? Yeah.
I like this one, The Wrong Boy Next Door.
You boy, move out!
Yeah,
The
on side, not
friend.
even side.
So yeah, he's lent into that theme a lot. 19 films
19.
on that thing. From my quick count up, might be more. So yeah, that's Peter Sullivan for you. Dr. Lauren is played by Candice Cameron.
Bleh.
She is kind of Hallmark royalty. She's been in over 30.
30?
In total. Yeah, she's kind of like big name on campus at Hallmark.
You get a gold big salad if you get over 30.
But she's known originally for the 90s show Full House.
Oh yeah, I've heard of it.
Heard of it?
I'm aware of it, but it's American,
Yeah,
so yeah.
that was her kind of first one, and then she did the revival Fuller House in the noughties as well. I'm just, as I do, I go around and have a quick stalk of everyone, and most recently she's been an ambassador. This is going to make you get for Starkist tuna, which looks to me like tuna in a pouch, like for cats. So it's like cat food for humans. So you get it in different flavours, and she claims she's like an ambassador for this thing. She claims she just has one in a bag all the time, ready to go.
Warm pocket tuna.
Warm pocket tuna.
Hey, homeless man, I've got you some warm pocket. Nah, love, you're alright, keep it.
I've got all these packets of hot sauce I've been stealing off the set.
So it's like, yeah, it's actually like in a full-on pouch like what you give to cats. And I always went, it's horrible. I quite like tuna, and I know you two don't, do you? And
I'm not adverse to it, but right, what's it called? Sorry, Star-kissed tuna.
Star-kissed.
Wow, it came up straight away, that.
Yeah.
Oh, I think we did have a thing here for it. And it's meant for like sandwiches, and it comes like pre-mixed, but it does look like cat food.
Yeah.
Like if you put that on a shelf, you wouldn't be able to tell that wasn't cat food.
No.
Ugh.
I was wondering whether she threw up immediately after eating it as fast as she could, like my cat.
Oh, there's recipes for it. And also, it's advertised by a big blue tuna in like a
covering all nationalities.
Charlie the tuna, he's called. He's quite okay with his brothers being put into the packets as long as he gets left out of it.
Yeah.
Sell out, Charlie. Sell out.
Funny. And then, despite being the face of Hallmark, she is publicly leaving Hallmark now for
Is she?
a new company called Great American Family Network, or GAF.
I knew this, yes. I didn't know she was
Yeah.
one of the levers.
So I think he was the CEO of Hallmark, and he's making a new channel.
Because it's got too racy, that's what it is. They've got a same-sex couple
They
again
have.
this Christmas.
And I think there's a Jewish film as well.
There is. I can't remember what it's
She's
called.
very religious as well, so maybe that's the reason why she's very religious.
Possibly. Yeah.
She's going to be starring in more Christmas films.
The wrong Christmas.
A Christmas ... present. So don't know what that's going to be about. Weird.
I'm gonna have to watch it though, aren't we? That's the problem. That's the rub with these. They're so blandly titled that it could be really good, but you'll never know.
They've just run out of ideas at this point. How many storylines can they come up with? It's just insane.
Yeah, they've been doing it for years.
Andy Holiday, so the male lead is David O'Donnell. Not really been anything I've heard about. Apparently best known for 13 Days and The Search for Fellini. But
Who is Fellini?
also in
Did they find him?
I have no idea. I've never heard of these films.
Oh, okay.
But he's been in like quite a lot of Christmas Hallmark films, including Merry Christmas.
That's good.
That's good.
Have you
Yeah.
seen that one?
No, but it's a good title. Oh,
It's
it's
a
better
good
than
title.
The Wrong Christmas or whatever the one you said a minute
Yeah.
ago was. A Christmas present. Yeah.
So I looked it up, and the tagline on IMDb is so weird. Right, a woman engaged to marry a self-centered film and stage director / choreographer falls for a caterer whom she kisses, as does he for her.
What?
Which is just how
That's-
kissing works. You have to kiss each other, otherwise.
That's a very roundabout way of saying they've done a kiss, isn't
yeah.
it?
She kisses him, and he.
And he also kisses her.
Who's the caterer?
And then, just an interesting fact
I love
about
these.
David O'Donnell is that he's the grandson of the chief of staff for President Kennedy. So
That's how we know Joe
Really?
Biden.
I thought it was. Yeah, I was going to
Yeah,
say.
it's-
I thought it was going to be that he was like Daniel O'Donnell's brother. You know, the piss-faced Irish singer.
Oh.
Have a beautiful day. That guy. The one that's basically.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I found a website that tried to have facts about him but could not find any facts, but became really creepy about it.
Oh, was it non-threatening boys?
Nice
or whatever it was
boys.
called?
Nice boy. No, this is just, it was called Wiki Celebs. I don't think it's anything to do with Wikipedia.
I can guarantee you it isn't.
And it says things like, David's body measurement, height and weight are not known yet, but we will update soon.
We're
Not known
into his
yet.
house.
Like he's an interstellar planet.
And then the other bit, not much is known about David's family and friendships. All information about him is concealed.
Seal. Yeah, you must
will
solve these riddles to get. I want to imagine that they've hired people to keep running up to him at events with a tape measure. Going, he's 6 foot! Oh, he's kicked us away!
Oh, he's gone again! We will update you soon.
Getting one of those, like,
He needs to be in witness protection.
getting one of those extendable things to measure his skull size.
So Lauren's dad, did anyone recognise Lauren's dad?
I did, but I couldn't put my finger on it.
Oh, I couldn't either, and I found where it is. Barney, did you figure it?
Joe Biden.
So other than being Joe Biden, he is he's been in kind of famous things. He's been in Magnum P.I. and Star Wars. He's one of the voice actors in that.
Oh.
But the reason my aha moment was he is in Parks and Recs, and you know the guy who thinks it's going to be the end of the world. He's like works it all out. And then they have that
Yes.
party. That's him.
That's him. Yes.
That's him.
I knew him from something, but I couldn't put my finger on it. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's him. Lauren's mum. I was convinced this was the same mum as from Marrying Mr. Darcy, but it's not. It's just generic mum.
They all look the same. They've got like helmet hair and
Yeah.
don't really do much.
So she's an actress known for Independence Day, as in like the Will Smith one. Not quite a minor role. Read It and Weep and Christmas Under Wraps.
Hey!
The film that we were already in. Can you tell I copied and pasted that one?
I was going to say you were phoning that bit in there, weren't you?
It has a little wiki.
I was about to say, oh, that sounds like a good film. Let's watch that one.
Yeah.
It was all right.
And of course, as I do now, as this has become my thing, I looked up her respective age to her daughter. But it's very acceptable. She's now 74. Deese will be 48 now, so I think she was a bit younger.
Yeah, that's
an acceptable age.
That's
range.
better than 3
Yeah.
years difference, isn't it? Yeah.
3 days. 3 days different. And in terms of the film generally, it has had close to 6 million views when it first premiered, making it the most watched telecast in the network's history.
Wow, really? And they didn't lean into that magic side.
It didn't even lean into. It sounds like a good film, doesn't it? But it wasn't.
Yeah. Did you? Did anyone check? What's it called? Gov.org, not Gov.org, God.org or whatever it is.
The review site thing.
Yeah, the one that's got because I'm like satanic imagery and stuff for this.
Oh,
'cause
no,
the
I
views,
haven't
like,
I don't know,
Christmas.
because I
It's
don't
not
think
important.
Dove.org do Santa, do they not? Because he's a mythical creature.
Oh, it's
yeah, I
against
think so.
God.
Because it takes away the true meaning of Christmas.
Which is the birth of Alan Sugar.
So, AlaskaGuide.com says that they frequently get people asking where Garland is since the movie came
All
out.
3
There's
people
no
that
press.
have gone.
All the 3 people. It had 6 writers. One of them was.
I'm sorry, 6
Jeffrey-
writers?
6. Yeah. One of them was Peter Sullivan, the director. But yeah, one of them is a throwback to another film done. It's quite a common throwback one. I've thrown back to this before. So he's called Jeffrey Schmeck. I don't know.
Jeff Schmeck.
Jeff Schmeck, who co-authored one of the Nighttime podcast films.
It does sound familiar, and I want to say, is it Chupacabra versus the Alamo?
It is.
There we go.
Ding ding ding.
It's finally starting to sink in, Barney. After 2 years of doing
You
this.
can just reel off these films now.
I
Yeah.
can't. But Jeff Schmeck, I remember because it's just a funny name. As well,
And there was no Alamo in it.
Makes sense. So the most exciting fact is there is a sequel to this film coming out. This
No!
Shit in the pants.
and it's even more exciting because Candice isn't in it.
What?
happened to
bumped her
we
off.
don't know. It's a new love interest for Andy. I think it's like a You situation, like the program You, where he gets a new kind of like he entices a new woman in, gets obsessed with her, refuses to let her leave, and that's
Tiny Hammer. Ah! Little
That's
Pete Sutcliffe.
We're watching that.
So that's what happens in the next one. But yeah, it's literally the same storyline, just with a different woman and a different reason getting her into town.
Oh, I was going to say, is it not just the same character, just with a different act playing it?
Maybe, but it's the same. So David O'Donnell's in it still.
And it'll be them taking over the
I was thinking maybe they're going to use the diner. Hattie's gone. She's
No, Hattie's still in it. She's on the cast list.
Fuck yes, this is amazing!
I know.
This is the best thing that's ever happened on this podcast. A sequel I'm kind of excited to see.
Christmas Under Wraps 2.
The Rappening.
The Rappening.
Andy's Revenge.
I wonder if it will say what happened to Candice. Who knows?
I guarantee you it won't. Oh, she'll have died. That's normal. That's normal. No, not in mysterious. Not out in the wilderness with a throwing knife in her back.
Tiny
Tiny stands. Ow! You're very slowly breaking all my bones. No, that's what normally happens, isn't it? Is that like the wife dies and then someone comes in? Oh, but I can't love her. But yeah, that's what it'll be. That's my. Well, we don't know. Maybe they'll. Yeah, there's so many options. It's great, isn't it? Yeah, live stream.
Yes.
Is that the end?
Yes, that's my facts. Sorry, I thought you were doing the music for the next bit. Jingle, jingle.
I was thinking of ding dong, the thing of the bells. What's that one called? That one.
Look at
I
the
love that
bells.
one.
Holy crap, here comes Jesus.
Merry, merry, merry Christmas.
Reviews?
I'm just singing.
We've gone silly.
Yeah. We're giddy on the
Yeah,
fact that
we're
the
very
recording's
excited
happening.
about that. Brenda hasn't watched this film, or if she has, she hasn't left a review.
Oh, she'd be like, there's no pumpkins in it. It's a
There
fucking
was
outrage.
not one food
A film called Christmas Wrapping and there is not one Valentine's heart in it.
So I've got a bottom, a middle, and a top. So Redskin Rex gives it a 1 out of 10. One of the worst Hallmark holiday movies ever. Good Lord, did no one in the crew know that it's almost always dark and very, very cold in Alaska at Christmas? 3 question marks. My 9-year-old kid knows that. Could they have put and less effort into making this lousy movie? Brackets, weak plot, bad acting, even worse writing and directing. Oi.
Oh. All right. So, like it for that reason. Red Face Rex. It was set in a magical land of Garland, mate. So the sun's always out. So fuck you, you idiot. Boom, roasted.
Always snowing and it's always
I'm
Christmas.
Yeah.
I'm just
Get out of
stupid.
here. Take your stupid 9-year-old kid with you and all. Get out.
I say, I'm impressed you said garland and not snorkel or hat or whatever you've been calling it.
Remembered it now. Remembered it right as we finishing, yeah.
Loves My Garden gives it a 7 out of 10. With the title, Wardrobe Issues. I feel like DuckTales had come in then.
That's good, that.
No doctor ever would go to work in a hospital wearing stilettos or wear them to walk in the snow. In this movie, Candice does it every day. The nurse doesn't. It's ridiculous. She should have on a nice pair of flats, brackets. I worked in a hospital for 20 years. I know what I'm talking about, close brackets. Someone really missed the mark.
That's it. That's the one takeaway from the film is that she wore shoes.
Redskin Rex is fuming that it wasn't dark enough. Loves My Garden is fuming she's wearing the wrong footwear.
I think people have got a distinct lack of priorities. Like, what about, like, the actual plot of the film? It's just like, I've noticed one thing. Get out of here. Go follow Redface Rex. He'll show you the way to Neptune's pantry.
And then top of the top, 10 out of 10 is from Cullen Wise, 1994. Excellent film. Best Christmas movie made in a long time. I love the movie and the snow looks amazing. Superb acting, phenomenal plot and excellent directing, a must see. A movie the whole family can enjoy with an actress we all love watching, Candice Cameron from Full House. There is a full stop there so I can breathe. There's no punctuation. That's
I was going to say, you are right.
The best Hallmark film of the year, a new refreshing Christmas story that will be playing for many more Christmas seasons to come. Great film, hands down. I would recommend anyone watch it. I am currently trying to find it on DVD so I can own it. A new refreshing perspective on good old Saint Nick with an adorable love story attached. Everyone is bound to fall in love with it. I think everyone can find it on the Hallmark channel during the holiday seasons.
That's the one on DVD.
He's trying to find it.
Just in case I need to watch it in June. The snow looks nice. It's minimum effort, isn't it? Like, it's like, you're watching EastEnders and going, oh, well, that market stall looks realistic.
Well, they had, 3 booths?
Yeah, did have 3 booths. Also, he's saying that it is Father Christmas. You see. I wouldn't go as far as 9 out of 10.
10 out of 10, that one.
It had 10 out of 10. It has issues. Direction being one of them, acting being another one.
The shoes being another.
The shoes and the fact that it wasn't filmed at night, like that fucking Clowns film.
But somebody had a tree delivered.
Oh, Brenda, right. We're taking things off the Brenda scale now. A tree was delivered. It did happen at Christmas. That
there was no snowman
I
extravaganzas or whatever.
A snowman didn't come to life, but yeah. I guess that's niche, innit? Like, there's that snowman film that we watched, and The Snowman, Jack Frost, where he murders people. That's the only 3 I can think of.
That's the only films Brenda's seen.
And she likes it.
She likes it.
Every week she's in Blockbuster going, have you got any small snowman films? No, Brenda, we haven't. Are you going to get any in? They don't exist.
Just some guy out back dressed as a giant snowman. Just film me doing this for Brenda.
Delivering Christmas trees. It's a 2 for Brenda. That brings us to the end of our first of many Hallmark of Greatmas Christmas special jamboree whatevers. I can't remember what I put. Your favourite lines from the film?
I don't really have favourite lines.
I can't
No,
remember.
no, it's fine. I'm Joe Biden.
I'm Joe Biden, and this is Garland.
That's Garland for you.
There you go.
Welcome to Scarf.
Everyone needs a snorkel. There you go.
Goodbye. If you like what we do, please consider giving a small donation to Manchester's Wood Street mission. We know times are incredibly difficult for everyone out there, but anything that you can spare goes a long way towards helping some of Manchester's poorest at Christmas. There'll be links in the show notes, and I'll probably drop this again at the end of the episode. If you can donate, that's fine. You're under no obligation to. This will still be free. We just wanted to use what little tiny reach we had to try and make Christmas better for everyone.